Am I the asshole here for refusing a wedding gift, knowing that there will be strings attached? My fiancé, 32 male, and I, 31 female, got engaged on Christmas Eve. Until recently, I had a great relationship with his family, his mum especially. But ever since the engagement, it's become really strained, because she keeps trying to insert herself into our decisions and offering unsolicited advice, and I'm slowly getting at my wit's end. A few things that have annoyed me. We want a max of around 50 people. My fiancé and I are both introverts, and even the thought of being in front of that many people gives me anxiety. With our close family, friends and their plus ones, we're probably already over 50. His mother insists the wedding must be a grand event with at least 150 guests. Hell no. I found a gown in a magazine I love, and that's going to be my inspiration. It's more on the simple side, but that's my style. I showed my best friend, my mum, and my future mother-in-law because I did want her to feel included, and she insisted that it was too plain, and everyone will think I'm just another guest. At my wedding, being the only one in white. The venue we're thinking about is too small and boring. The on-site catering is not special enough, and because my fiancé is an only child, this needs to be a grand affair. We need to get a guest list to her so that she can review and approve who's coming. No, this is our wedding, not yours. Thankfully, my fiancé is on my side, and about 6 weeks ago, called her and said, "We know what kind of wedding we want to have, and she needs to stop overstepping and questioning our choices." In an attempt to punish him and assert her authority, she went radio silent until last week. She invited us to dinner on Sunday and presented us with a check for $25,000 to help with the wedding. When we got home, I told my fiancé we are not cashing the check. He thinks I'm being ridiculous, and this can help us have the wedding we want with almost no out-of-pocket costs. I told him we won't have the wedding we want because she's going to use the money as leverage to push the event in the direction that she wants. Whenever she insists on including her friends we don't know and don't care about, she's gonna say, "Oh, I thought the money would help cover them." When we go dress shopping, it'll be, "That's a bit simple. I thought with the extra money you'd get something nicer." When we finally choose our venue, it'll be, "So what exactly is my money paying for?" My fiancé said it will cause a huge rift if we don't accept the money because his mother is extending an olive branch and being generous. But I tried telling him that it'll cause a bigger rift if she gets it in her mind that she has a say in our choices because she's paying for it. And I shut her down every time. I feel like I'm being positioned as a bridezilla. My fiancé thinks I'm overreacting, and it's the tension of the last few months exposing itself. Even my own mother said that I should just accept the gift. So am I the asshole here? In the comments, Positronomy says, "Not the asshole. I'd take the money and put it in a separate account to earn interest, or just consider $25K your zero balance and continue excluding her from decisions as you've been doing. If she ever demands her money back, just send it right back and tell her that it looks very poorly on her to use a gift as leverage. This makes the scenario a win-win. You're still financing the wedding yourselves, you can use the wedding money for whatever you want, assuming she accepts being excluded, and if she doesn't, you make a little bit of interest and don't actually find yourself in a hole." OP responds, "I like this. Thank you." And Positronomy responds, "Good luck. Congrats on the wedding." You could just ask whether there are any conditions attached. Make sure that you are both present when you ask her. OP replies, "This is actually a good idea." And when she says no, confirm that that means no suggestions, no feedback, just acceptance. If my fiancé is there, she can't exactly react with, "Well, maybe I can suggest this or that," or, "But it would be good if I could help out more," because she'd basically expose the whole thing as manipulation in front of her son. Significant Emu replies, "My dad gave me some money for my wedding, albeit a much smaller amount. I asked him, politely but fairly bluntly, if there would be anything he'd expect in return, such as veto on catering plans or X number of friends attending. He was very clear he expected nothing in return and stuck to it. But the difference might be that he was a nicer person than your mother-in-law." And now, onto the update. Hi everyone. I posted here a couple of weeks ago and got some wonderful advice. A few people asked for an update, and I thought I'd let you know what happened. It's not good. If you didn't see my original post, my future mother-in-law offered us $25,000 towards our wedding, but I knew that there would be strings attached to make the event her way. I thought maybe I was the asshole for overreacting or seeing something that wasn't there. But you all told me I was 100% correct. So I decided to have a heart-to-heart with my future mother-in-law, with my fiancé attending too. I told her that I miss the relationship we used to have, but it's becoming strained because I feel she has not respected the choices we have made for our wedding. We explained that we aren't depositing the check until we have this conversation and we are all on board about how we move forward. I know we didn't need to provide a rationale, we just required acceptance, but I thought that it would help her understand. The wedding size. I reminded her that my fiancé and I are introverts. We would be maxed out emotionally and mentally with 50 people. And quite frankly, we only want the people who have been a part of our lives to be there to celebrate with us. There's no need for childhood neighbors to attend. There's no need for distant cousins that we haven't seen in 15 years to attend. Just the people who have been with us on our journey. The wedding gown. This is non-negotiable. A bride chooses her gown, and I will be choosing one that I can be comfortable being in. This is the first time I'll be wearing a dress since prom. Reflects my personal style and makes me feel beautiful. Not anyone else's personal style. The venue. Okay, this is a bit cringe, but my fiancé and I met at a speed dating event a restaurant was running 4 years ago. We hit it off, and here we are. Our absolute first choice for the reception venue was this place. Their event space will fit 50 max. We thanked her for her generous $25,000, but we would give it back if our decisions aren't respected. We asked if she had any expectations around any decision-making that comes with a gift. My future mother-in-law cried and apologized and told us that she just wanted everything to be perfect, and she's sad that she never had a daughter who she can play a normal motherly role in wedding planning. That she was so scared that I would leave her out of everything, which I never did. I wanted her to feel included. So there you go. We had a resolution. We deposited the check and started to move from the spitballing ideas to confirming vendors phase. When I called the restaurant we wanted for the reception, their private function room was unfortunately booked out for our very specific date that we can't change, which was really sad. So we decided to start looking at other options. A few days later, I get a call from a wedding planner who proceeds to tell me that my future mother-in-law hired her to help with the wedding. What the hell? I called my future mother-in-law, and she explained that my fiancé mentioned we lost our preferred venue and wanted to take some pressure off of our shoulders and hired a wedding planner. She insisted the planner was just to do all the background admin tasks. Okay. I decided to give her the benefit of the doubt. I'm not sure why a wedding planner is needed for a small wedding or why they'd even bother taking the job, but if my future mother-in-law wants to spend her money on making things a little easier for me, that's fine. I met with the planner twice, described our vision for the wedding, and she said she'd put together some bookings to view venues, taste cakes, etc. Here's where shit hits the fan. The planner sent us a list of venues that she's booked for us to see. We had a look online, and all of the venues are large, like designed for 200 guests. We're confused, and when we went to the first appointment yesterday, my fiancé joked that 50 people won't need this much dance room. The planner looked confused and explained that future mother-in-law contacted her last week to explain that we were considering expanding the wedding and would need a bigger space than originally planned. We got home, and I called my mum, and I cried to her that this is all just too damn much, and we're now considering eloping. My mum's spidey senses tingled, and she called the original restaurant that we wanted and was like, "I'm calling about an event that my sister is planning." And she's so forgetful, I just wanted to confirm that she's booked the private function room. It's for date, and my sister's name is mother-in-law's name. You guys, this bitch booked the fucking venue out from under us. She booked it and paid a deposit to secure it so that we couldn't have it. I can only imagine she did this to slowly convince us to book a larger venue and host a larger reception. My fiancé called her and tore her a new one. He told her that she's no longer involved in any aspect of planning. We will not be working with her planner, all vendors will be password protected, and she's lucky she's even still invited, but will only be attending as a guest. No speech, no mother-son dance. He also told her that if she interferes at all again, she won't even be allowed as a guest. We transferred the money back to her account. I told him that I'm going no contact. I don't really want her there, but I will be polite on our wedding day because I don't want drama. But then I'm back to no contact for good. He is 100% backing me up. In the comments, wow, she's insane. Booking it behind your back is psycho. And OP says, I kinda wish I didn't find that out. That felt like the twisting of the knife, but it was also the thing that really opened my eyes. Make it a condition of being invited as a guest at all that she call the restaurant and transfer the reservation for the private event on that date to you. She can leave the deposit there. That's her penance. Honestly, if she won't do that, if she wants to spend her money and keep a space that she won't use just to take something that you really want away from you, then she doesn't deserve to be a guest, and no contact should start now. If she wants to make it right, she'll give you back your venue. Not the asshole. Wow, your mother-in-law is a duplicitous piece of work. What a calculating, sneaky cow. She was playing a long game. All power to your Ma's spidey senses. That's a very useful power to have. OP says she tried playing a long game and lost very quickly. She will continue to play those games. My mother-in-law was like that. Mine was a dirty fucking bitch until the day she died. Oof. I had a feeling that it was going to go this way. There's no way that someone that acts like that was ever going to be honest to your face. And I personally didn't even pick up on the fact that she had the capacity to book that space. I was like, man, that is just real convenient that it is booked already, huh? That sucks. I'm sorry, OP. But no, of course it was her. Of course. This was never about gift. This was always about leverage. Everything she did just proved your point. She ignored boundaries. She hired this planner behind your back. She lied about your plans. And then she booked the venue. She is a terrible person. It sucks that your fiancé has to see it all fully play out in front of his face to finally get it. But now that he has seen it, thank God he's handling it all properly. I'm with the comments though. I'd want to go no contact. I would want to cut her out completely. How could you ever want someone coming to your special day that could be so callous, that could be so evil to you, and so consistently railroad you and then gaslight you like she's not a problem at all? Screw her, not the asshole. I'd be going completely no contact. I wouldn't even have her at the wedding. Our next post is by user fullact7668, and it's titled, My 37 female, husband 38 male, was fired for harassment. I, 37 female, have been married for 8 years to my husband, 38 male, and we have 2 kids together. Last week, my husband was fired for harassment. He told me that he was flirting with a coworker who is not his direct report, but is lower on the hierarchy than he is. He says that she initiated the first flirtation, but after that, he found her on Facebook and started messaging her. She ended up showing the messages to HR, and he was fired. He deleted the messages, so I don't know what was said, but he claims he asked her to send a clothed picture. I'm at a loss for what to do here. Do I stay with him and try to move past this, or is it a big enough deal to leave him? Other potentially relevant information, I know he's messaged at least one other woman. I saw those messages, and they were not sexual, but they were flirtatious. I only work part-time, so leaving him is complicated by the fact that I would also need to find a new job. He doesn't have anywhere else to stay, so we have to keep living together at least until the job situation is resolved. Edit to add, because so many comments have brought up the clothed part, I asked him about it. He claims they were talking about Halloween, and he asked her to send a picture in her costume. In the comments, Lola Girl's mum says, as someone who's dealt with being sexually harassed at work, leave him. There's probably so much you don't know. I'm so sorry you're going through this. Came here to say this. I once had a coworker expose himself to me, completely at fucking random, and quite intentionally. I was horrified. I told my boss, admittedly not as soon as it happened because I was mortified by the whole thing and didn't know what the hell to do. Kind of in shock, I guess. Anyway, the next day that he came into work, he was fired. Awkwardly, he had brought his wife and young daughter along for a tour of the facility that day. He had just started not long before the exposure incident. He apparently denied it, told her that it was some crazy bullshit that I made up, and that the company was out to get him, etc., etc. She's still with him last I saw. They had another kid too. I am not the first, nor the last woman he's done this to, which I later learned when telling the story to others. They actually once owned a restaurant that had to be shut down because all the waitresses kept quitting because, wow, oopsie poopsie, somehow this guy just can't keep his pants on. How tragic and strange. Nobody should be the ever-loyal spouse forever believing the lies being fed to them by their creepy, chronic trouser-dropping mate. I feel like there's a lot more to the story that you don't know yet. I have to assume the messages were not as innocent as he's making them out to be, and without OP contacting his work or that coworker directly, OP definitely doesn't have the whole story. The mention of a clothed picture is a dead giveaway in my opinion. There was no need to even mention a picture request. Making sure he had said clothed is too telling. He's a lying piece of shit cheater. The sooner OP accepts it, the sooner she can get past it or kick the asshole to the curb. And now, on to the update. We are getting divorced. I decided to end the marriage shortly after making this post. However, he had a pretty intense mental health crisis, so I let him continue to live in our house until the situation was more stable. He ended up getting a job after a few months, but he's now suspended from that job for once again sexually harassing someone. We'll find out within the next couple of days if he still has a job or not, but I know he will very likely be fired. I told him it's time for him to find somewhere else to live, even if he doesn't have a job. While I hope he's able to work on his mental health, I don't believe it's my problem anymore. I'm currently getting ready to sell the house while the kids and I will probably move in with my parents while we get back on our feet. Thank you all for your advice. I think when I made this post, I knew deep down what I needed to do, but I just hadn't come to terms with the fact that my life was going to change so quickly and so completely. In the comments, he did it again? Damn! OP says, pretty much my reaction when he told me. Yeah, that's not a mistake. Unfortunately, that's who he is. A creep. He's 100% downplaying the first incident. That's not what happened. He did a lot more than just ask to see her Halloween costume if it got him fired for harassment. Ew. Not only is he a creep, but he's a bad liar. And that definitely wasn't his first time seeking out women behind your back. I'm so sorry this happened to you, OP. The major life changes suck. You made a hard but necessary decision. I hope you're taking care of yourself. I had married a guy that I worked with for years do this. I'd been laid off from the company and he messaged me on Facebook, innocent at first, just a hello and checking in. Then he started bringing up shit like what dress I wore to the Christmas party like 5 years ago. I couldn't complain to HR as I no longer worked there, so I just blocked him. Well, I was catching up with some former co-workers and brought it up, and it turns out he'd been doing it for years. When he got reprimanded for harassing colleagues, he started doing it off work time to former employees. Guys like this don't stop. He needs real help. He needs inpatient care if he's so stupid as to lose 2 jobs for harassment. A complete lack of self-preservation. OP says, yes, I very much agree. Unfortunately, he's pretty resistant to seeking any kind of treatment. Before the second incident occurred, I was able to convince him to see a therapist, but if he loses his insurance, then I'm not sure he'll be able to continue with that. Well, that's a him problem from here on out. But his repetitive behavior makes me wonder if he did it on purpose in a weird attempt to prove he's the victim because he can't control himself and keep you around and feeling sorry for him. We could make up theories about why he did it all day long if we wanted to, but at the end of the day, you just gotta get rid of this guy. He is a freak. This is a pattern of behavior that will never stop. Like, it's not just the sexual harassment. It's hiding messages, minimizing what happened, and then just doing it again at a new job, continuously crossing boundaries with people. He's the full package, in the worst way possible. And the fact that he said, clothed photo, specifically a clothed photo. Yes, I asked for a picture, but I didn't want it naked. Trust me, bro. Something I've never heard before. You always hear otherworldly, incredibly odd situations that people try to normalize. Clothed photo is a new one. No, bro, it's not normal. Stop lying. Thank you for divorcing him, OP. Thank you for doing the right thing. He deserves more than divorce, but that's all you can realistically hope to achieve here. Thank you for the story. Thank you for the update. Anyway, guys, that's all I have for you today. I do hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.